Hey church, this is Vince Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for another time in God's Word. I want to give a quick shout out to Jody Stedman from Greer, South Carolina, who leads a group of men who have served our country on a weekly basis around our material. Jody, I love you. Thank you for serving our country. And you tell all those men, thank you for their service to their country. In fact, if you are leading a group of veterans out there and you want to give them a shout out, let me know. Let me know your first and last name and city and state from which you're writing, and I will give you a very clear shout out right here as we lead up to a very important day in our country, Veterans Day. So today we're going to be in John chapter 20, verse 18. It reads, Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, remember she saw the risen Jesus, I have seen the Lord, and that he had said these things, so that given her that mission to her. What great words. So simple, right? Mary just does what she's told. And what is interesting is that we're not told how the disciples respond. For some, it had to have been disbelief. At least that's how I would have responded. Remember, in context, Mary is the first to see the risen Christ and deliver the news back. Just think about how you might respond to that situation. But there is a great point here, and it's this. When it comes to living out our faith, Jesus often looks for a specific quality in believers. It's kind of what I call blind obedience. And by blind obedience, I don't mean a thoughtless, uninformed obedience. Instead, I mean an obedience that sees the Lord so clearly that we become blind to the matters of this world. And in today's world, you have to admit, we have access to overwhelming amounts of information and opinions. And I think it's easy for a believer to hear something from God and His Word and then overthink or rationalize why they can't or shouldn't proceed. And then get stalled and bogged down by the what-ifs and the pros and cons, chasing the opinions of others. And by doing so, they'll hesitate and then not take action because they are seeing the wrong things, therefore they won't act in obedience to Jesus. So here's my question for you today. What blind act of obedience is Jesus telling you to take? You. Is He calling you to mend a broken relationship or address a sin or disciple your family or start a ministry? Whatever He's telling you to do, stop letting human reason blind and bind you to disobedience to Jesus. Instead, see Jesus, listen to Him, and just act. Stop rationalizing the action and the results because blind obedience to Jesus always produces irrational results. I love you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Share this with someone else, by the way, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.